Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, whenever you're listening. Welcome once again to another episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark. I am joined once again by Mr. Tom Connors. How you doing?
I am doing the best I can.
Thank you for joining us once again.
And thank you.
Yes, and thank me too. Why wouldn't you thank me?
And how are you doing tonight, Rob?
Doing fantabulous. I am, of course, your Nattery Supreme, fresh off the Taco Bell dollar bargain menu, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, coming to you from Shabby Road Studios, in the home of the loudest fire engines in America. Apparently,
You didn't
I
have
have one. Yeah, I have one every single episode.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah,
Never fails.
So anyway, we've got a lean, mean fight machine of a show for you. And Tom, why don't you kick it off at the box office?
Sure, it's been a pretty interesting weekend. The weekend before Halloween, of course, Jigsaw, the latest film in the Saw film series, didn't quite do that well stateside, but it did do very well overseas. Stateside, though, it had the second worst opening of a Saw franchise film, with only $16.2 million. Tyler Perry's Boo 2, Medea Halloween coming at $10 million exactly, according to early estimates. Geostorm, the Warner Brothers picture, did $5 million. Happy Death Day, the other horror film that's been doing very well lately, as of late anyway, did $5 million. Blade Runner 2049 dropped down yet another spot, down 5th place with only $3.9 million. Thank You for Your Service come in at 3.7. It was a new film from Universal. Only the Brave came in at number 7. The Foreigner popped in at number 8. That's the Jackie Chan film with 3.2. Suburbicon, the worst opening in Paramount history. The Matt Damon film.
Matt Damon.
Made only $2.8 million.
Matt Damon.
I just watched that the other day. That opened at number 9. Ugh, ouch, ouch, ouch. And number 10 was It. There's a rumor going around the Flashpoint movie will depend on the success of Justice League. Comicbook.com and a few other places are reporting this, of course. They're saying despite performing well at the box office, Warner Brothers has not been entirely satisfied with their slate of DC movies. And it's no surprise, you know, with all the rumors going around that they were talking about kind of creating its own separate universe again, and not doing so much of the same cinematic universe, that this would go along with that. And anyway, the Insider is claiming that they are holding off on Flashpoint right now to see how Justice League fares this next weekend. The reason we think anyway, and then we have to be clear about that, is because we're thinking that, okay, if Justice League isn't received well by the audience, Flashpoint is probably going to be a complete reboot. Like, they'll find a way, because if you're even remotely familiar with the story of Flashpoint, the real basic of it is Barry goes back in time to prevent something that happened in the past, and in doing so, he entirely screws up the future and then has to fix everything. So this could be like a reset button, and
damn it, Barry,
because this is something they've also used quite a bit on the TV show, if you're familiar with that as well. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking, okay, if Justice League is a hit, and I'm sure Rob thinks the same thing, then yeah, obviously they're going to do Flashpoint, but they're not going to change the universe. They're going to get it reset back to the way it was when we leave them off in Justice League, say. So what do you think about this, Rob?
I really don't blame them for wanting to hold off on it, because Flashpoint sounds like it's going to be a big production. It's pretty much going to be Justice League 2.0.
Oh yeah. There's a lot that goes into that. And also, somebody had asked Jeffrey Dean Morgan about playing Batman in Flashpoint, and he, of course, wasn't able to really say too much. But I guess from what I gathered, he just insinuated that they were going to be holding off on it as well for now, which isn't surprising. In the light of all the latest news we've gotten as well, especially from our last show.
There's also a rumored, I take rumors with a grain of salt. There's a rumor of a Green Lantern cameo in Justice League.
I've heard a few things too, and there's probably a lot of truth. I'm sure there's either hints or, again, this is all based on rumors. I don't think we'll see de facto Green Lantern as in Hal Jordan or John Stewart. But I think we may see, I can't remember his name, damn it, but the alien that does give...
Abin Sur.
Okay, I think we'll see him maybe, or somebody within the Green Lantern Corps. I think they will set that part up. I'm not 100% sure, of course. Otherwise, it's just going to be dropped hints here and there because, of course, we're getting into a lot of cosmic.
And actually, one of the things we talked about on my channel, Robot Shlomo, during the Batman v Superman special edition was Jake actually brought up, Jake Bentley, who joins me on occasionally for these discussions. He brought up that there was Green Lantern casting actually at the time reported. They cast a guy named Dan M. Boyer, who was a not very well-known actor, to play a young Hal Jordan.
Or that could be it too. We just get a Hal Jordan cameo.
Oh yeah, or Hal Jordan appears somewhere. And it says, "Oh yeah, what's hey, well,
kid?
Hey, Dad, who's that kid? Oh, some hotshot pilot, Hal somebody." You know,
Jordan something.
Oh yeah, Jordan. That's it, Jordan. Yeah. Hey, that kid's going places. You know.
There was one other bit of news that I don't think you got into the roundup, so we might as well bring it up here since it is relevant to DC. They do have a new Captain Marvel in Shazam.
Shazam! Is he gonna fight crime in the desert like in the old TV show?
That I don't know.
What kind of crime can you fight in the desert? Look out, cactus poachers!
I guess Zachary Levi will be donning the red Bolden costume.
Isn't he Chuck? He's Chuck, right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the roundup.
Well, buckaroos, it's time to saddle up that horse and head on out the barn for the roundup. Yeehaw! First item on the roundup is a topic that I am very interested in. And that's all we could do. Otherwise, we have to give Monty Norman a royalty. Christoph Waltz is not returning for James Bond 25. This comes to us from Slash Film. Back in August, confirmation finally came that Daniel Craig would return as James Bond from the actor himself, and he made that confirmation on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Indeed. I think we brought it up on the show.
We did. So now everyone is wondering what is in store for 007's next mission on the big screen. Sadly, for those who enjoyed a certain iconic villain from James Bond's history being played by Christoph Waltz, we have some bad news. During a red carpet interview, Spectre villain Christoph Waltz was directly asked if he would return for James Bond 25, and the actor gave a definitive and firm response in the negative. But his elaboration is what we're most intrigued by. When asked if he would return for the sequel in the long-running franchise, Walt said, "No, I'm sorry. I'm really sad, but that's the tradition, that there is a new name. Sorry, I would have liked to." And this, of course, leads people to speculate that another actor is going to be playing Blofeld in the next movie. Because we actually had three different actors, actually Telly Savalas, Donald Pleasance, and another guy who I can't.
Who, of course, is most famously known for being part of the inspiration for Dr. Evil.
Yes, right.
The other part, of course, is Lorne Michaels.
Continuing on in the roundup, James Gunn is in the news. James Gunn addresses silly Marvel DC raging between comic book fans. This comes from Deadline. Oh, James Gunn. Director James Gunn is here to put a stop to the meaningless rivalry between Marvel and DC fans. In a series of tweets, the Guardians of the Galaxy helmer addressed and attempted to diffuse the tense arguments among fanboys and fangirls about Batman v Superman and the competition between Marvel and DC. Every time I mention anything DC, no matter what, my feed becomes an endless screaming match about BVS, he tweeted.
Sounds like our Facebook group.
It does sound like our Facebook group. You guys are never going to convince each other. It's just a bunch of wasted energy. The rest of his statement read, "At least when you're screaming at each other about Trump, it's something of international importance. But it's a 2-year-old movie that some people like and some people don't. Why is someone else's opinion so important to you? As Marvel and DC superfans, you have way more in common with each other than you do with the rest of the world. So why do you spend so much time raging at each other? It's silly. Please just stop it. Stop engaging in that way. But at the very least, when you do, untag me. I've muted a lot of you guys, but not all. Thanks." The tweets came after he expressed his excitement for Zachary Levi landing the starring role in the upcoming adaptation of DC's Shazam.
So it's related to what we brought up earlier.
Yes, it is.
So I lied. It is in the roundup.
It is in the roundup.
Shazam!
If I don't point it out, somebody else will say I'm wrong. So
Yes. You realize I'm just going to keep saying that.
Shazam!
as I say, you're not going to change into Captain Marvel. Sorry, Rob.
No. No matter how hard I try.
Shazam!
Nope, still hasn't happened. So are you a fan of the Lethal Weapon movies?
Yeah, absolutely. I am indeed.
I like the Lethal Weapon movies. We have Lethal Weapon news. Lethal Weapon 5, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Richard Donner exploring it at Warner Brothers. This comes to us from Deadline. It looks like the band just might be back together. Deadline hears that Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Richard Donner are all huddling on the possibility of doing another film for the Lethal Weapon franchise. In the scenario, we've heard Donner would direct and Channing Gibson of Lethal Weapon 4 would write the script. The first film was released in 1987 and the last film was released in 1998. The film also spawned a TV series as well. Okay, more Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I had to double check and make sure this wasn't an old story because they've been saying this since the fourth one came out. But yeah, I'd be all right with it. I think
this is one of those that constantly gets thrown around. Oh yeah, there's another Lethal Weapon movie. Oh, it's off again. It's on again. Yeah, it's off again.
This instance, I think you got a situation where Mel Gibson's a lot cheaper than he used to be.
And this franchise is a lot cheaper than it used to be.
Shazam!
Still nothing. Sorry.
Say it 3 times fast, maybe? I don't know.
That's Candyman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Beetlejuice, I forgot.
Finally, I don't know. Are you a fan of Louis C.K.?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. And this next bit of news comes from Variety. Louis C.K.'s I Love You, Daddy to be released in November. So apparently this is a movie that's been kicking around for a while, and it's finally got...
Oh, yeah, you were talking about it before, I think, too, right?
Yeah, it's finally gotten distribution. Louis C.K.'s comedy I Love You, Daddy will get a limited release in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago on November 7th and will be rolled out nationwide in the following weeks. The film is distributed by The Orchard, which will also see international distribution, including showings in France, Sweden, Norway, Andre, get on that, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Portugal, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, and Israel. Attendees can purchase advance tickets at CK's website.
So you think this is Oscar bait, or?
I'm not sure. This has been kicking around for a while. It's good to see he finally got distribution. There's a little bit of more. I Love You, Daddy premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, with Variety calling it Louis Meets Manhattan. The film is shot in black and white and 35mm film and follows a Manhattan-based television writer who faces a career crisis as he tries to connect with his 17-year-old daughter, played by Chloe Grace Moretz. The film also stars John Malkovich, Rose Byrne, Edie Falco, Charlie Day, Pamela Adlon, Helen Hunt, and Ebony Noel.
Hell of a cast, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't recognize the name Pamela Adlon, she's actually starring in the FX series Better Things, which has been highly acclaimed, and Louis C.K. produces. Well, yeah, it's got a
connection.
Yeah, it's got an all-star cast, and Louis C.K. is a funny guy.
Yeah,
so
be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And like I said, it'll probably be on Netflix sooner or later. It sounds like Oscar bait, but anyway. That's the roundup on this lean, mean fighting machine of a show.
Shazam!
Still nothing. So if you like our lean, mean fighting machine of a show, then why not hit that subscribe button? And don't forget to click.
Oh, please do.
Please do. And don't forget to click the bell icon. That way, the bell icon is how you know when new content is uploaded. And please share the ever-living shit out of it, please.
Yeah, we took it pretty hard with this whole issue with YouTube, if you're familiar with it. It's a big convoluted mess with a new algorithm. But anyway, point being, yeah, we could really use your support right now, especially at places like Patreon, where we make sure we get your support directly as opposed to YouTube. And there's all kinds of great new stuff over there, right, Rob?
That's correct. Patreon users get all kinds of extras, goodies, and bonuses. They will get bonus episodes. They will get lost episodes. They'll get outtakes, behind the edge making of episodes. They will get the full uncut, unedited, edited audio from the Alien mini documentary. They'll get advance notice of different things coming up. Special previews. We previewed for Patreon supporters the special animation to the Star Trek Captain's Trek logs. that opening animation. People got that 2 or 3 days early before everyone else. That was a Patreon extra that people got. Wasn't that right, Tom?
Indeed it was. And also we got some great stuff coming up on the main channel and of course here on After Dark. We're going to definitely be talking about Orville some more. We got to work that in there somehow because you guys want to know what we felt about it. So we'll get a special show out there as soon as we can, or a roundtable about the last 2 episodes, and proceed from there. Otherwise, of course, keep an eye out for the next Trek log coming up here. And Andre's got some great videos planned over there on Midnight's Edge as well. We're working on a Friday the 13th mini documentary, and he's also got a tardigrade. I don't remember if it's an editorial or mini documentary in the pipeline as well too. So if you haven't wondering why we hadn't talked about that much on the Trek log or at all, really is because there's a mini documentary or whatever planned for it, so it will be covered in great detail there. So look out for that stuff this week as well.
Yes, and as always, like I always say, if you cannot support us through Patreon, if you don't have the means to support us through Patreon, then please just click that subscribe button and support us that way.
And if you do actually get any commercials, let them play.
Yeah, just turn the sound off and just do something, watch something else for a little while. So, yeah, because YouTube has not been kind to us lately.
No.
Yes. So anyway,
that's all we're going to say.
That's all we're going to say about that. I am, of course, your narrator supreme, Rob Robot Shlomo, and you are...
Tom Connors.
And I am saying goodnight from Shabby Road Studios, and of course, you are the audience, and as I always say, without you, we cannot do this. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves here.
That's right.
Thank you once again for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
Shazam!
Still nothing.